Good afternoon. Thank you very much for having me and listening to me for the next 30 minutes. So, in order to answer that question, what is the business value brought by Red Hat's cloud offering? First of all, what is Red Hat cloud offering? Well, the Red Hat cloud offering is a series of products that work together to deliver everything that is needed to do cloud, whether you want to do it privately, whether you want to do it in the public cloud, or if you want to do in between, in an hybrid cloud model. So we have Red Hat OpenStack platform, Red Hat Cloud Infrastructure, which adds things like satellite, like Red Hat Virtualization, Red Hat Inside. We've got Red Hat Cloud Suites, which add to this Red Hat OpenShift container. And in fact, I would say that all of Red Hat products could be considered as being part of our cloud offering in one way or another. So a year ago, we asked our customer through a survey, what are the main driver for you to be using our cloud products? And the top 3 reasons they came with were reduced time to deploy services, more flexible infrastructure to meet business demand changes, and faster response time to business. I like these 3 answers, but I thought there was something that we didn't ask. It was a multiple choice. We didn't leave room for people to answer. So I told myself, maybe we should go and visit a bit more in our case studies what it is that people tell us when we do a case study that is the real value that we are delivering to them. So I'm going to be presenting a few case studies, but since we are in Korea, I'm going to start with a case study from Korea. We're talking about Lotte. And rather than explain something that has been explained to me and do it in English, needing it to be translated, I'm going to ask a colleague that has been working on this project to come join me on stage and talk about Lotte. Please, welcome Moo-jung.
예, 안녕하십니까. 한국 레드햇의 김호중입니다. 오늘 제가 설명드릴 그 롯데 LDCC 같은 경우는 이미 그 고객분께서 오전에 사례 발표도 하셨지만 퍼블릭 클라우드와 프라이빗 클라우드를 구축한 사례고요. 거기에 SF의 오픈스택에 오픈시프트까지 해서 하이퍼 컨버지드 기반의 더구나 프라이빗과 퍼블릭 클라우드를 구축한 사례입니다. 그래서 실제 프라이빗 클라우드 같은 경우는 이제 내부적으로 롯데 그룹사에 대한 서비스를 진행을 하고 계시고요. 퍼블릭 클라우드 같은 경우는 IaaS 기반의 VM 서비스와 더불어서 사스 리셀러 형태의 그 서비스 모델로서 사스 형태의 서비스까지도 같이 계획을 하셔서 현재 서비스를 운영하고 있습니다. 그래서 한국에서는 프라이빗 클라우드와 퍼블릭 클라우드로 레드의 오픈스택 기반으로 구축한 사례로서 굉장히 좋은 케이스가 되고 있습니다. 혹시 질문이 있으시면 나중에 끝나시고 나서 개인적으로 와서 질문 부탁드리겠습니다.
Thank you. So here is one example, and here reliability, saving money, making money seems to be the key word, right? Another example, an Asian example, sorry, it's not Korea this time, it's Capital Online. So Capital Online had a goal to reduce the cost of their services to their customer. And they were previously delivering an offering using proprietary software. And when they started the project, that was their main motivation. And in fact, they did save quite a bit of money doing that. But what they weren't planning is the added flexibility that the new offering gave them. In fact, the open source software is not only a cheaper option, it's an option where you've got access to the source code, and that's 10 times better than having access to the manual, right? they've already gained so much speed in terms of development that they are able to move their business so much faster. And here, I think the key learning is when you use open source software to deploy your cloud solution, your cloud infrastructure, you gain in adaptability, which is a key element in the digital transformation. Another case that is fairly similar is MyRepublic in Singapore. MyRepublic really wanted, again, to reduce their costs. And here they were able to really gain on hardware. They were able to cut their TCO by double digits. They were able to improve, again, their time for response for their customer and reduce their complexity. Again, a private cloud that is delivering value to the business in allowing the business to be more reactive. And would you like to come back for the next case study? We are going to talk about KBS. Sorry to make you walking so much.
좀 당황스럽기는 합니다. 사실 예정이 없던 건데요. KBS 같은 경우는 사실 그 국내 사례 발표를 작년에도 그 KBS 관계자분께서도 공식적인 자리에서 많이 하셨고 기사로도 크게 났었는데요. KBS 같은 경우는 기존에 이제 방송 편집 시스템을 보통 KBS에서 한 촬영을 하게 되면은 예를 들어 유재석이 출연하는 어떤 그 프로그램이 있다. 그걸 촬영을 할 때 보통 최소 서너 명에서 많게는 6, 7명의 촬영 감독이 여러 가지 그 뷰 포인트를 잡기 위해서 촬영을 하고 그 테이프를 아웃소싱하고 있는 업체에다가 편집 시스템 테이프를 그대로 넘기거든요. 그 넘길 때는 보통 택배나 퀵을 통해서 보내다 보니까 가끔은 분실 사고도 있고 그리고 실제 퀵이 간 다음에 그걸 다시 받아서 그걸 다시 편집본으로 올려서 편집한 다음에 그걸 편집된 거를 다시 모아서 다시 또 KBS에 보내면 거기 심사하는 데서 보고서 송출부에 보내서 보내는 이런 형태의 약간은 그 수작업 형태였습니다. 근데 KBS에서 이제 그 오픈스택과 이제 글로스를 통해서 클라우드 시스템을 구현을 해서 그런 편집 시스템을 촬영 감독이 촬영함과 동시에 바로 그게 클라우드에 저장이 되고 그 저장이 끝난 이후에는 그 아웃소싱하는 업체 아니면 그 KBS 내부에 있는 편집하는 시스템에서 로그인해서 그 영상으로 바로 편집에 들어갑니다. 그렇게 되다 보니까 그 편집 시스템에 택배로 왔다 갔다 하는 그 시간도 줄 뿐만 아니라 바로바로 확인이 되니까 기존에 비해서 뭐 정확하지는 않지만 기존은 한 달 걸렸던 게 일주일 이내로 줄어드는 그래서 시스템 도입 대비 실제 효과, 경제적인 효과, 예산 절약적인 효과가 굉장히 컸던 사례로서 글로벌하게도 발표된 사례입니다. 혹시 또 궁금하신 점이 있으시면 개인적으로 문의 주시기 바랍니다. 감사합니다.
Thank you. So, sorry for having you walk so many times, but that was the only two case study where we were Korea-based. So, you know, in this case study, we see people that are successful, but there are also people that have been trying to implement a cloud strategy using open source software and that have failed. And isn't that interesting to try to find out why they failed? And very often, what we found out is that people, when they start using open source software, don't understand one very simple thing. It is not because you have access to the source code that you should find yourself enabled to do whatever you want with the source code. Branching to create a user-specific feature is something equivalent to paying with a credit card and not having the money on his bank account. You're going to be creating debt. How does this work? Well, I make a feature just for myself because I want my cloud to be so much better than anyone else. and I'm going to keep that feature for myself. I'm not going to make that modification upstream. After a while, I figure out that the upstream community has added a lot of other features that I would like to benefit from. And at that moment, I am there with my very special feature, and I need to have this very special feature work again with this newer version that the community has made evolve. And everything has changed. And here, in order to have my old feature that is very specific to me, I have to spend again time and time again trying to move the branch, merge my branch back into the formal thing. And I've seen numerous examples of companies that failed not understanding this principle, not understanding what it meant to create technical debt. It's okay to do things by yourself, but this very simple principle that Red Hat has been applying for 20 years, which is upstream first, is a key element in the success when you're going to use open source software, and particularly when your objective is to reduce your time to service. Because otherwise, you're going to die, as did, let's take a couple examples. If you've been long enough in the OpenStack world, have you heard about a company called Piston? Not there anymore. HP Cloud? Not there anymore. And I could name quite a few others that made exactly the same mistake. So let's go back to things that are a little bit happier. How do you be successful? And we are talking about business, but sometimes business is not just all about money. When you're a university or a groupment of university, your objective is not necessarily to make more money. Your objective is to make the research of your student more successful. And here we have a case of the Massachusetts Open Cloud, which is a groupment of multiple famous universities in Massachusetts that have decided to unite their efforts to build a cloud that could be used by their students. And they've been very successful at it. We've been working together with them on ensuring that not only they were being successful with our products, but also that they would help by contributing their new features to the community in time. And right now, we have universities such as Boston University, Harvard, MIT, and many others that are using this platform on a daily basis to do big data analysis on demand with a storage backend that delivers loading and unloading on the data at a speed that were not available before. And these speeds have been achieved thanks to the contribution that the grad student of this university have been making to the product. So this is, for me, a great example of a win-win, where a customer is also a contributor to the community. Another great example, these guys, NASA. If you've been in the OpenStack community or looking at the OpenStack community long enough, they were one of the founders of the OpenStack project, right? So 7 years ago, these guys start really the Nova project that is the foundation of the OpenStack project. And 5 years later, they decide that, hey, it's enough to be not only a contributor to the OpenStack project, but to be a maintainer of our own distribution of OpenStack. There are people like Red Hat that do that a lot better than we do. We know how to send rockets into space, and that's what we should focus on. Let's use our engineers solving the rocket problem, where we let the Red Hat engineer solving the OpenStack problems. And that worked out really well for them. We've been working together, and they are still able to launch rockets, better rockets, while their OpenStack has become a lot more reliable. Another university use case, I'll stop with university after that, the Nanyang Technology University. Here, their problem is that they had a network of university, and they wanted to be able to exchange information between these university and allow automated resource provisioning across these universities. And Red Hat virtualization with Red Hat OpenStack platform and cloud forms allowed them to do that on small campuses, on large campuses, with a unified interface for all of their customers. So here, the business problem that we solve for them is collaboration, creating a collaboration tool that allowed them to share their environments. And again, a very successful implementation. So now, when we look at these guys that have been successful, either a typology, something that repeats, that shows how success works. So clearly, success works because you're going to create something new, something different. And there are apparently two cases when that can happen. The first case is when you start from scratch, okay? You have a new idea, you create a startup to solve a problem, you have no legacy problem to solve. The second case is when people have the courage to completely rethink their tooling. And here I can speak of experience, because when I arrived at Red Hat 3 years ago, Red Hat was delivering OpenStack in the traditional RHEL fashion. Well, the problem is that to deliver RHEL, you generally have a development cycle that lasts about a year and a half, where OpenStack was delivered every 6 months. And so what happened is that people were rushing after OpenStack was released to create the Red Hat OpenStack platform, and it took them 6 more months. We were releasing the latest version of Red Hat OpenStack platform at the same time as the next version of OpenStack was released. And we had to make drastic changes. So we decided to completely retool, rethink our production chain so that we could maximize our time developing OpenStack and not running after the last version of OpenStack. And that worked. We are now at about +2 months and hoping to get to +1 month within a year. Another important aspect is to consider that the tooling is not everything. It's also a culture change that you need to do. You need to have a better software architecture. You need to have tools that enables agile integration. You need to streamline your application lifecycle. And you need to implement a culture of continuous innovation. And that means applying agile methodology. And when I say agile, I like to say the main thing in agile is that you use very short sprints. At the end of each sprint, you have a deliverable, and at the end of a sprint, you reflect on the process you used and try to make it better. So you're in a continuous improvement cycle. Another really important thing is the principle of collaboration. You do, in small teams of 6 to 10 people, a lot more things than 6 individuals working separately. Why? Because the collection of knowledge is much greater, and because from 6 to 10 is the magic number when people know how to communicate together efficiently without having to go through weird communication systems. So success is not only the right tool, it's also the right culture. Remember this. So let's take a look at another example. Paddy Power Betfair. You certainly don't know the name of this customer. However, if I tell you it's the European largest betting platform, a platform that is able to handle 120 million transactions on a daily basis. A platform that is creating bets every hour. They create bets on what will be the color of the next costume of the Queen Elizabeth, or what is the number of goals that this team will mark in their next game. And they need to be able to create those games very, very quickly because they want to be as creative as possible, to test new ideas, and to kill those ideas if they don't work as quickly as possible. Within 2 weeks, they'll know if a new type of bet works or not. And in order to do that, they needed to be able to spawn new betting platform very, very quickly. So they created a whole continuous delivery chain specialized in bets. And they did that using OpenStack, using CloudForms, using Red Hat virtualization. And I've been visiting them a few times, and every time they show me their tooling, how their bet manager, product manager, are able to invent a new bet and put it into action in a matter of minutes. It's really impressive. And in fact, I've been learning quite a few things from them, which I've been reapplying onto the process on how to build OpenStack. Another customer example, Verizon. Verizon is the largest cell phone provider in the US. Verizon, being the largest, could be saying, oh, I don't need to change anything. I'm the largest. Nobody's going to come disrupt me. Well, it's not that true. There is also other companies like T-Mobile that have entered the market and try to disrupt the market by providing lower costs. There are other providers that are trying to be better at network coverage. So they are being challenged in many ways. So Verizon has decided to challenge themselves, to disrupt themselves by rethinking their whole environment, from IT to how they are delivering their mobile phone service. They've decided to go with an agile platform. And really here, I mean, we are just at the beginning of the story, but the deployments we are doing at Verizon count to 50 different data centers already, and this number is going up every day. They are really doing the transformation there. Another customer here that decided to use OpenShift and OpenStack to rethink how they would build their trucks. And using CloudForms to manage their environment on Red Hat and on Microsoft Cloud, they've been successful at implementing a complete transformation on their production chain for their trucks. Well, because today, a production chain for trucks is a computing production chain. People are using more and more automated functions, even in the physical space. And of course, by having a single vendor that was able to provide support on all the layers of their cloud environment, they really simplified their interactions. And last, UK Cloud. UK Cloud is a public cloud provider that is targeting very specifically UK public government. And here their requirements was, I want something that is as secure as possible. I'm dealing with government agencies. the ability to evolve very quickly, to adapt to the business demand of these agencies, and the ability to add additional value to gain new customer. And you know, I'm working with UK Cloud on a 6-monthly basis. We have a call where we discuss strategy. Where are we going with OpenStack? How can we do better? And right now they're working on adding an OpenShift-based container platform on top of their OpenStack deployment. And they've been quite successful. I mean, this year, they won the Queen's Innovation Award in England. They also won the award of innovation from Red Hat at the last Red Hat Summit. These guys are really understanding what it means to build an agile platform. So this is the last example I wanted to give you today. I hope that gave you some ideas on what is needed to be successful with a cloud platform and what are the business value that you can get out of it. But I understand that words all by themselves do not make a transformation, is not enough. Sometimes people need some help in understanding how, in details, to do this transformation. And because of this, Red Hat has been proposing a new service recently called the Open Innovation Labs, a place where a company can send various stakeholders on a given project, where they can experiment, where they can work side by side with our engineers to learn new ways how to do this. It's like an internship on how to transform a company using new tooling, new process, and a new culture. So for anyone that would need to transform their company, oh, by the way, are there any companies that shouldn't worry about digital transformation today? Well, I don't really think so, because if you don't transform to digital, somebody else is going to be doing it for you, and you're going to be out of market. Well, if you think that you need help, I think this is the best way yet invented in getting a team up to speed, and then use this team as the first element to transform the rest of your company. Well, I hope that presentation was interesting, and I would like to thank you very much for your attention. If you have any questions, we have a few minutes left, so please feel free. No questions? Or am I not seeing people? I'm sure you have questions. Maybe you don't want to speak in English, and that's absolutely fine. I'm sure somebody will be able to translate for you. Okay. Well, thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of the conference.